Coach. You guys had an over 30-point win tonight, and really the key was being able to turn defense into instant offense at a discounted rate. From your view, how did you see your team, being able to force the ball over on the defensive end and making things work on offense?
We had a week of preparation, and we really emphasized that, getting back to our fundamentals, right? I showed them the movie Set It Off, which is one of my favorite movies or whatever, right? With Jada Pinkett and, like Queen Latifah and, Vivica Fox. Y'all seen it. But, I went back to my teaching days where I had to get them to understand by using an analogy through that movie that, if you look at that movie, oftentimes in any bank robbery movie, the same mistakes that's made the first time they rob the bank are the same mistakes that they make at the end. It's just they never correct the mistakes because they get away with it. And I thought we've won some great ball games on the road, but we were robbing banks. We didn't fix some of the things that we needed to fix, and I was just hoping that it wouldn't come back and bite us. And so we got back to the details and the basics of everything this week. We was up without Poe, and Poe is a instrumental part in what we do. But credit to the guys, man. Like I just told them, that was one of the most incredible collective efforts as a unit that I've seen. Keyshawn Porter just really stepped up. He was 7 to 8, had some huge knockdowns. Timmy, Josh, and T. Crawl. Like, I'm out there playing walk-ons, man. But they stepped up. Devin Gorton did what he needed to do. I thought Fred managed the game. JD didn't have his best outing, but that's okay. He's not going to be at his best every time, and he deserves the right not to have a great game sometimes, and people are capable to fill in those spots. So that's what we did, and I'm extremely proud of those guys.
Able to jump out early, like you said, a hot start from Fred and Keyshawn. A couple guys coming off the bench pouring in, Timmy and T-Craw as well. When you get that type of production from the bench, how does that make you feel as a coach?
I tell them, man, I coach everybody, and I coach them hard. We hold them all accountable, right? And so we don't coach 6 people or 8 people. We coach everyone, including the walk-ons. I've been around this game long enough that the next man up is not just a mentality or a cliche. It's going to be something that's going to have to be applicable to your basketball team. We've won championships with walk-ons, and oftentimes those guys have been in our system long enough to understand what we're doing. So that's what you're seeing with Timmy and T. Craw. They've been here for 3 years, so they have some longevity and tenure, and they're familiar with the system, and they just go in there and execute to the best of their ability.
Monday, you told me you didn't like the close games. That was more for guys like me. I'm assuming it was more for more your speed. But,
yeah, I like these better. That entertaining game and nail biters, that's for y'all. My cholesterol levels and sugar and insulin and whatever else that raises when you got close ball games. I don't want to go through that, man. It's what we signed up for, though, man, and I'm just extremely proud of the kids.
But to be able to run through an entire roster and get everybody in like that, how important is that for experience down the stretch when you're going to get into tighter games and get into tournament play?
It's huge, right? The one thing that's so underrated, man, is that injuries, right, and how they come into play and how they just enter the fold. And it may not necessarily be injuries. It may be just foul trouble. But you need someone who's going to step up and have that next man up mentality. And these guys get at it in practice, right? So we're always competing. The losing team is always running. So that second unit that you saw out there, they're capable of doing what we asked them to do. And tonight they just executed well.
Attributing, like you said, the execution, 46% from the field for the game. How do you continue that into the game on Monday?
We want it to be 50. Right, we want ours to be 50 and theirs to be less than 40. So I thought we did a good job of locking in on the defensive end of the floor. But as a coach, you always gonna nitpick, man, because it's my job, right? It's my job. So we'll go back and we'll dissect this tape, and tomorrow morning at film, we'll put that spotlight on them, because I know they're gonna be feeling good about themselves, and as they should. But it's my job to bring them back down to earth right now.
And your team is now winners of 3 straight. Like you said, many players were able to come in tonight and contribute. But winning is going to be coming by rarity, coming down the stretch as there's only a few games left. But you guys are 5-1 in conference play. Where do you see this team fitting in amongst the rest of the MEAC?
We don't worry about the rest of the MEAC. We let them worry about that. We just do what we do, and we stay locked in. I know that's cliche, but, you know, man, I've been in this for so long that we don't do a bunch of scoreboard watching and hoping and wishing and living by that creed. We have the opportunity to control our own narrative. And I told him, as a man, oftentimes in life, it's really rare that you get a chance to control your own narrative, right? And we got an opportunity to do that. Let's just stay locked in, take this thing one day at a time, win each day, know that we have the honest days of preparation, the honest days of work, and hopefully it'll manifest itself once we touch the court.
And the mention of unfortunate injuries, before the winter break, you had mentioned how you felt like some of the rest of the team wasn't quite buying into the things that you are putting out there. Do you feel that sometimes injuries may be a blessing in disguise, where you have guys come in who you thought may not have been ready, and they come in and they show, okay, maybe you can give me a few valuable minutes here?
Yeah, I think it all works itself out, right? It all works itself out. I think it's all written. You know, I just live by that, my faith, and, you know, I just try to be out here and conduct the orchestra and let it all play out and do the best of my ability. You know, the injuries, you know, it's inevitable, right? It's a part of the game. But what's also a part of this game is we got 13 people on scholarships and not just 5. So obviously, you know, some are probably more talented and gifted than others, but they're all capable. And I told them it ain't what you capable of, it's what you're willing to do. They're all capable, but what are you willing to do, right? Are you willing to dive on this floor for that loose ball? Are you willing to guard their best player and, you know, make him take tough shots and contested twos? It ain't what you're capable of, man. It's what you're willing to do. And so we were willing to do whatever it took to get a win tonight.